Okay.
Hmm.
So essentially, you're thinking more damage, or are you thinking more CC?
Like I'm thinking more CC here probably to like go against him. Like Ivern is a great candidate.
Actually, that would be kind of hilarious to see. I don't know. I don't necessarily know if we should expect to see too many Iverns because Ivern really seems like you got to have a mindset to use Ivern
Hmm.
completely. Uh, but if someone were to actually pick Ivern into a Hecarim, it would definitely disrupt his jungle path. It would definitely make him really paranoid about what he's doing.
Hmm.
Although, in all honesty, if I was playing Hecarim and I knew that there was an Ivern on the enemy team, I'd just essentially go straight into their jungle after I get my first camp because it's like there's no point in me trying to go get mine.
Yeah.
The Ivern cheese jungle path is pretty standard at this point.
Yeah.
So it's
Yeah. And Hecarim, I don't know about like counter jungling stuff like that. Hecarim's clear is very strong. He
right,
clears camps fast.
right,
Like he can definitely go for the Raptors camp and clear it very quickly level 1,
right.
which is going to be a big thing in this game.
Let me say, but yeah, essentially moving around the map would definitely kind of negate Ivern just a little bit. Um, hmm. All right, so still waiting to get people in this lobby. Uh, hmm. So, all right, let's kind of try something else here. What in terms of global pressure, what champions would you say would be the high would be essentially a global? What would your team be if you could pick all global pressure champions?
If I could pick all global pressure champions, Ash would definitely be in there. Rek'Sai, but Rek'Sai's not as strong anymore. I'd say Rengar because he just moves so fast and he can get around. Quinn would probably be in there for maybe a top lane pick. Hecarim definitely like fills in that global pressure for sure.
All right.
He is able to move very fast with his E
No.
and get to where he needs to be to disrupt a lane and then get a good gank in.
Right. I've seen way too much Hecarim work to the point where it's like this is some pretty amazing. Uh, I've seen some pretty amazing Hecarim work. I didn't necessarily think that Hecarim could maneuver around uh, both terrain and towers the way he did, but a few times I've actually seen him pretty much go around a tower to push someone forward into the laner that they were fighting against, and it was like this. This is like this is not necessarily complicated, but this is like some next level stuff. Like this is some crazy stuff to watch. Seeing someone completely think that they're under the safety of the tower and completely have that ripped away from them. Um, but personally, if I was gonna go with the global team comp, I would have to go with Twisted Fate, Shen, Rek'Sai, Quinn, and Tom Kench.
Yeah, definitely.
Like people who could literally go anywhere on the map at any point if things were available to them. Especially, and in all honesty, you could kind of switch out Twisted Fate with Rise as well because being able to teleport the entire team and then like each of them going somewhere else after that, it's like, how do you keep up with that? This is worse than a Kassadin.
Yeah. All right. Looks like we are getting into picks and bans. It appears that they are going with the same bans. I'm guessing that is according to the rules. So we will having all the same picks, I'm assuming, and then the Twitch pick will be different. Yep, that looks
Yeah.
like the drought we're going in order to
Alright.
keep it fair and not have any sort of metagaming or any of that stuff going on. All right. Let's see. Yep.
All right. So yeah, it looks like we're going with the same picks. We're gonna have to see who this jungler might be, though. I'm gonna say the anticipation.
It's the big mystery. Turns out it was Twitch all along. That
No,
would,
no, that would not be. Like we
Oh.
did all this because of the Twitch.
I see a Twitch again.
Oh, it's Udyr. Oh man, they have some really interesting buffs going on with Udyr.
Yeah, they have a lot of single person lockdown with like Leona and the Udyr.
Yeah, like Udyr had his Tiger Stance and Turtle Stance changed. So Turtle Stance used to give lifesteal, but now it just outright recovers a percentage of his maximum health. Tiger Stance does damage over time, but after a certain number of attacks, all of the damage that would have been applied over that time gets applied instantly, and the tick resets itself.
I see.
So, yeah, they have a little bit of single target CC, especially with. Well, no, they have. Yeah, they have a lot of single target CC with Udyr and Leona and Darius, but the Udyr is gonna have some different mechanics to him, to the point where if the other team isn't paying attention, they might not necessarily know what's going on when they die. They're gonna have to pay attention to they're gonna have to pay attention to a lot of stuff, and also with Udyr outright getting his life back rather than having to depend on lifesteal, that's not that. I could expect him to start actually diving. I kind of actually expect him to play like Hecarim a little bit.
Yeah, they're both definitely dive junglers. Like, Udyr is super strong when it comes to diving. Like, he was before the changes.
Right. And it looks like they're playing Flash Smite. So if they're playing Flash Smite, expect magical Flash stun attacks where he outright just flashes on top of someone, bear stance punches them, and essentially the whole team just jumps in on him afterwards.
Yeah. Udyr had to be one of my favorite picks for, like, playing jungle, like, about a season or two back.
Yeah.
For, like, climbing up to, like, gold and stuff like that.
Yeah. Back when the magical item known as Feral Flare was still in existence.
Oh, God. That was crazy.
Yeah, those was like the Wild West of jungle at that point.
Yeah. What was the AP item for jungle that was, like, not too long ago? Was that Runeglaive?
Yeah.
Yeah, that item was so crazy. Like, you could play anything AP,
Yeah.
anywhere you want. And then when it was, like, okay to run in as Ezreal mid, you just chunk people to half health with 1 Q.
Yeah, that didn't need to exist. I'm glad they took that out, because watching that happen on a few of the LCS casts, and then having that happen to me personally,
Yeah.
I cried a little bit on the inside.
Yeah. There was also a Runeglaive Scion. That was pretty funny, too.
Just why? You're just bringing back horrible memories. Oh, man.
But no, yeah. I wish Udyr could be more viable with, like, an AP-orientated build with, like, having to max that Phoenix stance over the Tiger stance for damage.
Right. I don't know. Like, I think that just kind of comes with a preference for what kind of damage you want to throw out. Because personally, I started playing Udyr when Tiger Stance was the stance to go with. So I always tried to build the 80, tried to build the attack speed. In fact, I built a ton of attack speed with that initial setup. But yeah, it comes down to a personal pick whether or not they want to go with Phoenix or whether or not they want to go to Tiger.
All right, looks like we got like about 30 seconds here till we lose the spectator delay and go right into game.
Yep. So, again, we have on our first team, on our first team, please
help us.
send help. Please send help.
Yeah.
It's going to be Ziggs, Leona, Lucian, Darius, and Udyr versus Team Go Easy on Us, which is going to be running a Hecarim, LeBlanc, Karma, Maokai, and Ashe. We're looking at the first match, or first casted match of the MKLOL tournament, and we are going to see. We'll hopefully see some amazing stuff here.
Absolutely.
And by amazing, either it's going to be a beating or it's going to be pretty even there.
Yeah. To be seen.
All right. So it's taken a second to try and there we go.
Yeah.
All right. So in terms of lane advantage, we're thinking the Darius is probably going to beat Maokai. That's pretty straightforward. Unless the Maokai is patient. If Maokai is patient, Maokais typically don't play to win lane. They play to win mid-game with the amount of tankiness that they can handle.
Absolutely.
But at that same time, if he's not patient, if the Maokai isn't patient, Darius is going to take advantage of that, and he's going to easily win that lane. Jungle is going to be an equalizer, so or more of an equalizer idea. So we'll have to see where and what happens with that. Mid, LeBlanc is going to beat Ziggs.
That's inevitable.
Ziggs is going to have to be on their A game in terms of making sure that they don't get completely negated.
Yeah, LeBlanc level 3 burst. It's going to be scary.
Yeah, and it's only going to get worse from there if Ziggs doesn't create an advantage for himself early on in the matchup. And bot lane, I'm gonna have to go with the Ashe Karma lane over the Lucian Leona lane, just because, like we said earlier, the poke is going to be insanely strong, and if Karma's able to get enough damage on Leona, that's going to stop her all in. If that stops her all in, Lucian's going to have to be super paranoid throughout the entire laning phase, because that's going to allow Ashe to kind of throw damage at him whenever she wants. If he tries to throw some retaliation damage back, that's when Karma either throws a shield, throws a root, or throws a empowered Q at him, and then that just completely takes him out of his game.
Yeah.
So in terms of lane matchups, I got to give it to Go Easy on us. In terms of mid game, I still kind of go with Go Easy on us.
Yeah.
But if Please Send Help does some pretty substantial work in terms of trying to keep things even on the early game part, I think they might have potential to pretty much take mid or late game.
Yeah, I mean, if all the lanes can keep their presence and allow that Udyr to farm, then it will be sublime for him.
Okay. Got to bring up the scoreboard.
Yeah.
Hold on 1 second as we try to figure out the scoreboard button. There it is.
There it
All
is.
right. So we got the scoreboard up now. Everyone's pumped. This is the first game of the tournament today, so we are super excited to see this all work out. Looks like everyone is going and doing their standard thing, kind of going to standard positions, making sure no one's going to necessarily invade. We're going to say, which is really good, although I'm not going to lie, in previous tournaments, it seemed like invading seemed to be the thing to do.
Yeah.
Like, we had quite a few invades, actually. So,
Yeah. I think they're just trying to give us a good show.
that
There you
might
go.
have been it, too.
Impress the viewers.
But it looks like we got the invade. And it looks like Leona and Lucian are able to run away. All that was really put down.
Yeah.
All that was really put down was a ward at the red buff.
That was interesting, though. No damage or poke even being dealt by either. They just put the ward in and get out.
Yeah, so that's kind of surprising to see that actually worked out the way it did, but it looks like Go Easy on Us decided to back out and go ahead and do a standard start, while Team Please Send Help just kind of went back to blue. They didn't necessarily do too much extra.
But yeah, definitely go easy on us, securing that early game vision, knowing that the Udyr is starting his blue buff.
All right, so he's starting blue, Hecarim's starting blue. They're doing their own thing, and it looks like they're going to end up in opposite sides of the map once they hit their level 3. But otherwise, yeah.
Yeah, Maokai actually pushing the lane in pretty hard. And I think Darius is honestly looking for that right now.
Which, again, isn't necessarily going to work to Maokai's advantage. Maokai needs to be a little patient when it comes to this, especially when stuff like that axe starts to fly at him. All right, and we got a little bit of poke coming from Karma, too. So, and we
Maokai
got
going in. But he is going to probably go even in that trade because of the bleed.
And it also looks like Darius is healing up pretty good. He started off with a nice Hunter's Potion, or Yeah, he started off with a damage potion, so he's gonna, while he's healing up, he's gonna be doing a little bit more